So it's taken me a year and a half to get brave enough to do this, which is, Jesus came through first time in May of 2013 when I was doing the Great Minds book. And I wasn't happy about it because of the implications of channeling Jesus. But it's taken a little bit of time to get used to the idea of sharing. I came out of the closet on, Gay Pride Day. I was like, I have to tell you something about myself. I'm channeling Jesus. That was my first day. I put it on Facebook. So I've been kind of coming out incrementally and then speaking about it with people. Because I kind of have to. This is our first public event, really. He did come through last weekend at an event that I did. I think that was just, just for me to do it and see that the world doesn't come to an end. He channeled a lot last summer for you guys from my family, and did some personal teaching with them. And I wrote his autobiography this summer, just as a side. So that's in at the publisher right now, getting edited. It's going to be out in the new year. So I'm sure he'll speak about that a little bit. No idea what he's going to say, so I'm just going to get out of here because you didn't come to talk to me. I'm not sure if he'll come through first or Ananda, but we'll see. We are with you again, dear ones. Indeed, we say welcome, welcome, welcome. You are part of an auspicious event here. We have been preparing our dear one for this event for quite some time. Our journey with her has been to open up to these energies. There is no way that she would have signed on to this project had Jesus shown up first. We had to cleanse her. We had to deal with fears and limitations of mind, as you are all going to be doing in this journey here. We would like you to know that this is a project of consciousness expansion. That is what we are here to do. You function within a familiar ground. You function within the parameters that you have set up that allow you to be comfortable. Your Western world is very good at training you to back away from fear. That is something that you are taught to do. You are taught to override your guidance system, which is your emotional body, your feeling self. And so you begin very, very early on in your life to limit yourself, and you are limited by your training in your families, in your cultures, in your schools, in your religions. You are taught many, many things about yourself that are untrue and cause you great suffering as you journey through your incarnation. Our purpose here is to put an end to human suffering. That is a grand plan, we know, but that is our purpose. That was Jesus' purpose when he came as a teacher so many years ago on your planet. He has decided it is time now to bring forth the truth of his teachings. There have been circumstances on your plane that have prevented this. You are now living in the perfect time, place for him to bring forth his story. Now, he is having this discussion with many channels around this planet. This is not the only microphone that he is speaking through. This is a consciousness revolution that is taking place, and you are feeling it. That is why you are here. You want to expand. You want to grow. But we want you to know that you will feel the edges of your comfort zone as you are going through this. You may even have felt them already. Perhaps you did not wish to tell someone where you were coming today. Perhaps you have kept it a secret that you are participating in this nefarious activity. This will show you a belief that you hold in your mind. This will show you cultural training that is letting you know that this is not okay. Something bad will happen if people find out that you are going to listen to Jesus speak. These are the feelings that we want you to pay attention to as you go through this 3-week excursion into mind, for you are going on a journey into your own mind. You are not going on a journey into Jesus' mind. You are going on a journey into your own consciousness. Your own consciousness is the only thing you ever experience. You think it is outside of you, this life you lead. You think it is outside of you, these experiences that you observe, but they are all taking place within your own consciousness. You are the creator. So we want you to come at this from that point of view. We want you to listen to your feelings and emotions as they arise during this experience. We want you to sense the energies that flow through your body as you listen to these communications. We want you to begin to relearn the landscape of your consciousness. Your consciousness has been plowed flat by a grader in your society, and there are beautiful undulations, valleys, and mountains for you to experience. But if you stop when you begin to feel uncomfortable, if you stay within those narrow parameters that you have been taught to play within, then you are going to miss these landscapes. There are vistas and experiences and challenges that are magnificent in nature, but as you travel through this experience, we want you to pay attention to the fears that arise, the thoughts that arise, the feelings that arise, the memories that pop up in your mind. These are going to all be the information that your consciousness is bringing to you. You may have memories of being in Sunday school and being punished. You may have memories of sitting at your family dinner table and being brutalized in some way. You may feel these things arising as these vibrations elevate your consciousness. What happens when your consciousness is elevated, and that is what is going to happen to you in these meetings, your consciousness is going to be elevated, and any idea, thought, belief that is too low to be maintained with that elevating consciousness is going to come to the surface of your mind. It is coming to the surface of your mind not to traumatize you. It is coming to the surface of your mind to be let go of, to be observed, to be offered up for healing, and to be let go of. For you cannot raise your consciousness when you have old beliefs, fears, and memories that are of a low vibration. So this is where we want you to understand any discomfort or unpleasant things that seem to be triggered by this experience are coming up for you to look at. For they are creating in your world every day. They are creating in your body every day. They make sickness. They make negative experiences. They make you fearful and afraid to express yourself. These are the mechanisms that are at play in the mind. You do not realize it. You think you are free, but all of these old beliefs and experiences, these old traumas, are in fact limiting you and causing you fear. They arise as conflict in the mind, body-mind. And when you do not understand what is happening, when you feel agitation or you feel anxiety in an experience, you will mistake it for that experience. It is not the experience that is the problem. It is your interpretation of the experience through the filters of your consciousness. So that is what we are working on here. We are working on raising your vibration, clarifying the filters of your consciousness. Enlightenment is a consciousness that has had all blocks to love's presence removed from it. You are in fact made by love, for love. And you are going to feel discomfort, limitation, fear whenever you have a thought, an idea, or belief that is unloving. That is what your negative emotions are. They are your thoughts and beliefs manifesting in your body-mind to show you that you are off track, that you are having a thought, an idea that is out of accord with love. So that is our purpose here. We have come to pave the way for these teachings. As we said, our dear one could not have dealt with Jesus coming through straight away. There were many things that we needed to clean up, let us say, and you all have these things. That is what your incarnation is for. You mistakenly think that you should have it all together at a young age in your society. That is not what your life is for. Your life is to clarify the mind and to remove all of the blocks to love's presence in your mind. And they manifest as trials and tribulations. Why? Because Spirit keeps bringing them to you as opportunities for transformation. So if you have patterns in your life that cause you difficulty, if you have ideas and memories that cause you pain, know that this is what your life is for. Your life is showing these to you so that you can bring them into the light and love them into invisibility. This is our purpose. So we want you to be brave. We want you to pay attention to your inner journey as you experience these teachings. We will pass our dear one over now to this being that you know as Jesus. He is coming to speak because it is time. He is coming here to communicate with you because you are ready, you are here, you are open, you are willing. And this is the first step in transformation of consciousness. A willing mind that knows that there is something it does not know. And it is willing to be humble enough to be taught. This is a wonderful, wonderful place that you find yourselves in, not just physically a wonderful place, but the state of mind that you come to this meeting in. This humble, willing, open state of mind. This mind that is willing to go against your cultural teachings, for this is not condoned in your society, this kind of meeting. We would say, well done, and we will pass our dear one over now to Jesus, and we will allow him to speak for himself. I am returned to continue my teaching ministry. This is my purpose. I have always been a teacher. I will always be a teacher. This journey that we are going on together for this time period is a wonderful experience for me. There are not very many body minds that are willing to host this party. And so I will begin at the beginning. I will tell you why I'm here. My name has been used for many purposes. My name has been used to repress. My name has been used to kill. My name has been used to punish. My name has been used to restrict. None of these things I taught when I was incarnated on the physical plane so many years ago in your time-space reality. I came as a revolutionary. I came to transform the minds of those beings who existed in that time and place. I came to offer salvation, not the salvation that the church has told you about, where you are restricted, where you are repressed, where you are tamed, but a salvation of freedom, a salvation of freedom of mind, a salvation of freedom of self-expression and creativity. I was a very badly behaved young man, and I will tell you a little bit about my personal story, because we must deconstruct the ideas that you have of who you are listening to here. I am not the Jesus of the church. I am not the Jesus of your Sunday school lessons. I am not the Jesus of the Bible. I am, in fact, a human being who we would say was dealt 4 aces in his hand. I was given the opportunity, based on my incarnational history, to offer a teaching to the world that had not taken place up until that point. Now, you have many, many beings offering this teaching now. It is no different. There are many channels on your plane at this time offering teachings of love and unity consciousness. But the purpose in my coming now is to undo these foundational beliefs in your society and indeed in your minds. You see, there are stories told about me that are untrue. My divinity above yours. This is not so. I am not the Son of God any more or less than you are the son or the daughter of God. We are all equal in the eyes of that energy that you would call God. The stories that have been told about me have placed me upon a pedestal, have placed me above you, have placed me in a realm that is unattainable in your ordinary existence. And so there is an underlying feeling of pointlessness. There is an underlying feeling of, well, I can never attain those heights, and this is not so, and that is not what I taught. The teachings that came through me were very much in the form of channeling information. As a young man, as a child even, I knew that I was going to break rules. I knew that I was going to push boundaries. I was poorly behaved. My mother was very upset with me a lot of the time because I would argue with people that I should not argue with. I would not do as I was told. And very early on in my consciousness, I knew that I would be transforming the society in which I lived. It was a knowing. It was not something I learned. My birth, we will deal with this as well as it is in people's minds. It was an ordinary birth. It was not an immaculate conception. That is a legend that came from past cultures that was laid upon my story. There are many things that have been laid upon my story that were used to bring in other religious factions to the Christian faith. They had to be inserted into my story so that other beings would come into the faith. They could not join the Christian movement unless these stories were added to the mythology of my life. But my life was an ordinary one. I was born to a man and a woman in the normal way. They had a normal sexual relationship. However, my mother did have a vision when she was pregnant with me of the life that I would lead, and she was told that this being that she was gestating, this being that was growing within her, would be a special being, and she had to love this baby more gently than any other child of that time was being loved. Children of that time were disciplined heavily. They were restricted in their behavior considerably. And my mother was told not to do this. She was told two things. She was told to teach me the Jewish ways and the Jewish scriptures, and she was taught to love me unconditionally and with a gentle hand. There was no brutality in my upbringing whatsoever, and this allowed my independent nature to flourish. However, it flourished more than my mother could handle, and at the age of 16 or 17, when I had already passed the age when I should have been married, I was rambling through the countryside with other delinquent young beings, causing some trouble and having a great deal of fun, I have to say. It was not the Jesus that you imagine. These are the stories that you need to know about me. You need to know my humanity. You need to know that I was an ordinary being fumbling through my life, listening to my guidance system. But what I had that other beings did not have was an intense and profound connection to spiritual information. I had an open channel, if you want to use that word, an open communication pathway with non-physical beings. My teachers, my guides and gurus and teachers are with me now, but they were with me as I walked those lands so long ago. But I chose not to marry young. This was something that upset my mother greatly, and I chose to start what was in fact a rebellious little spiritual group that studied the scriptures but pulled them apart, interpreted them differently. Why did I do this? Because I was being told to do this. Why did I do this? Because I was having information brought into my consciousness on a daily basis. In fact, many times a day, I would be told the truth, and I would then be shown the scripture that was incorrect. And so I began a loose ministry very early on in my life. And it was this that set the foundation for what would allow me to become awakened later on in my experience. So this journey that we are on now is to dispel the misconstrued ideas that you have about who I am. I am here to take my name back. I am here to bring forth the true teachings that are going to empower you, that are going to expand your consciousness, that are going to allow you to let go of ideas in your mind that are based on Christian teachings that are untrue. You must remember, I did not come to start the Christian church. I came to dismantle an oppressive and repressive, violent regime that was in place at that time. Not only was the Jewish cult at that time oppressive and controlling, but the Roman invasion, the Roman occupation of those lands at that time was very violent, very difficult for people to experience. I did not want to teach in that time and place. I went on a long journey to the east. There are rumors of this in your alternative mythologies, and it is indeed true. I went on a long journey to what you would consider India and Tibet in my 20s. And in that excursion, on that excursion, I went into self-discovery the way many of you do as young people. You take off to India or Europe and backpack around searching for yourself through experience, searching for yourself through new ideas, new cultures. This is exactly what I did, and this was one of the reasons I did not marry young, because I knew that I needed these kinds of experiences, and that it would not be appropriate, given the life that I was going to lead, to marry young and be restricted by the cultural limitations of that time and place. I would have been very happy to stay in that part of the world. The contemplation, the study, the peaceful demeanor, the wisdom of that time and place made me very happy. But that is not the place that needed the teaching. Just as this place that you find yourselves in now, this Western civilization, is teetering on the edge of self-annihilation. And the Middle East, of course, is no better than it was so long ago. But that is because the teachings were not taken at face value. They were not shared appropriately. My journey carried on. My late 20s, I returned home from my trek, and yes, indeed, did get married at that point. And it was my dear Mary, the Mary Magdalene that you so often hear about, was my beloved. We had a long relationship. We met in our teens and had fallen in love all those years before we married. But my life was not a conventional one. She knew it, and that was why she loved me. That is why she stayed with me as my partner through all those years. We married and had children. My enlightenment took place at my 30th year. This is as your Bible describes. My enlightenment was the consequence of study. My enlightenment was not a random act dispensed by a God that was telling me I was good. This is not how it works. Enlightenment comes through scientific study. Enlightenment comes through understanding vibration. And so that is what we are going to be learning here. We are going to be learning about vibration. But you must understand, for you to hear my words, you must let go of these ideas about what I was. You must let go of these ideas that you have been taught in your society, that I am the only Son of God. This is not so. We are all divine aspects of that energy, which you would call God. God is not a being. God is a benevolent force that invigorates life. Every single thing that you see, every single experience you have, every single idea, creative thought, loving concept is God's self expressing, this benevolent, loving, unconditionally forgiving force that creates all. Now, this world that you see, this experience that you are having, is not the world created by God for you. That is not what is happening here. This experience that you are having is your mind manifesting to show itself to you. If you do not understand this principle, if you do not get that this world is yours, that this seemingly fractious, violent, unloving place, beautiful in its expression at times. But if you do not understand that this time and place is coming from within all of you, then you have cause and effect mixed up, and you will not be able to change anything, because you will be under this mistaken idea that this world was created by God. And yet you look at this world and you see the violence, you see the scarcity, you see the self-centeredness, and you wonder, if God is love, how can this be? If God is love, how can this be? This is not a world created by God for you. This is not a body created by God for you. This is all arising from within mind. The creative process that you experience is continuous. This is not a universe that was made one day. This is a universe that is being made minute by minute by all of you in the thoughts and feelings and ideas that you hold within your mind. And this is why it is so important for you to let go of the stories about me, because what you are doing in that letting go is you are taking back your personal creative power. The story of me being the only son of God means that you are not a creator, and this is not so. The story about me being sacrificed by my Father to save your sinful selves is such a ridiculous tale that it is, I could no longer stand by and allow this to be inflicted upon innocent minds. You are, in fact, being taught something that is abusive in that story. I was not sacrificed. When I went to the cross, I had already mastered the physical material world. I had the choice whether or not to go to the cross or not. I was teaching my disciples. I was teaching them that the body is not who you are. That was the demonstration that I was offering. It has been completely turned around in your society in an effort to encourage you to sacrifice yourself, in an effort to encourage you to be passive, in an effort to make you fear God. For if God will sacrifice his only son, what will he do to you? This makes beings very easy to manipulate if they are afraid of a vengeful attacking God. And that was the original idea behind the transformation of the story that I taught. The story that I spoke about was the meaninglessness of the physical body. You are not your body. You are manufacturing your body from your thoughts and concepts and ideas. Your body is a reflection of who you are, and so when you get sick, it is not a God causing you this pain. When you suffer with headaches and body aches, this is not a God being cruel to you. This is your inner workings being shown to you. You are creating this entire experience. This entire experience is yours. And this is why I'm telling you about my life, so you can take this power back, so that you can begin to see me as an equal. I am further along the road towards light than you are. There is no doubt about it. I have been slogging along that path for a long time. But you are all on the same path that I am on. You are merely further behind. And so that is what beings of higher consciousness are. They are merely beings that are higher in vibration through the scientific application of principles. That is what we are here to help you understand, that there are vibrations that are at play in your body-mind complex, in your ideas, thoughts, and concepts that are creating all of the time. Your embattled minds are creating an embattled world. Your fearful beliefs are creating limitations within the body. Your poisonous thoughts about your brothers and sisters are creating infirmity in your physical structure. This is a dynamic, love-based, creative soup in which you are living. If you are out of accord with love, you will feel it as a restriction. You will feel it as a sickness. You will feel it as suffering. And so the joy of this story is that you are able to relieve all the suffering that you experience. There is no one doing anything to you. You are doing it to yourselves in ignorance. We do not demean you by saying ignorance. We merely say that you have not been taught the truth. You have not been taught that you are the creator of your experience. You are hearing rumblings of it, and that is why this material can come through now. That is why we can teach in this form now. Because you are hearing these transformative ideas surfacing and burbling through your society, creating your own reality, but you do not realize the depth to which you create your own reality. This entire experience is you experiencing you. And so as you approach an experience, we want you now to begin to understand that you have brought this experience to you to show you something about you. There is nothing in your personal experience that is not you being shown to you. So when you are attacked from the outside, you are being shown that you attack. When you see cruelty outside of yourself, you are being shown that there is cruelty within you. Now, many of you are not aware of this because you do not go inside. You stay on the surface of your consciousness, dodging anything that is uncomfortable, dodging feelings by medicating them with alcohol and drugs and food and television, shopping. These are ways that you manipulate your own consciousness so that you do not feel the pain that is inside you, so that you do not feel the suffering. What we want you to know is that these are not bad strategies. You are, in fact, incredibly creative beings, finding all of these ways to avoid what is going on. This is a gift of your creative self. But what we want you to understand is that your creativity can be used for much more fun things, can be used for much greater things than avoiding feelings. So we are going to give this being a little break from our energy for a few minutes, and then we will come back and we will begin to speak about your personal guidance system, your emotional guidance system, this gift that you have been given from Spirit to help you through this physical journey on which you find yourselves. We are honored that you are here. We are happy that you are on this journey with us. So we are going to be back in a few minutes and give this being a little respite.
Wow.